Hey guys, Jacqueline Hernandez here at the Alert Center. We were just listening to Omaha Mayor Jean Stothert. She plans to run for re-election. She initially ran back in 2013, and if you were just listening, you heard the Q&A session with a bunch of reporters who were already there, just chatting a little bit about. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. Gina just gave me an update from our website, wwt.com, where she's been following along as well with one of the quotes from Mayor Stothert. So she says, quote, "I love my job and I hope it shows. We have such great momentum right now in Omaha." She said, noting that her fourth term will focus on results. "There's so much more that we want to keep moving forward. There's the saying that cities never sit still. You're either moving forward and changing, or you're declining and moving backwards. We want to be that city that continues to move forward and develop. So that's why I'm running," she says. "I'm the person to get that done," end quote. A quote from Mayor Jean Stothert saying that she is running for re-election. Now, if you are just joining us, we are talking about the mayor's statement this morning. She was initially introduced at 10 o'clock, about 40 minutes ago, by former Nebraska Governor Dave Heineman. And according to her news release that she sent out, she was focusing on 4 priorities in this re-election campaign. So improving public safety, managing the city's budget, creating job growth, economic development, and improving the taxpayer experience. Some of the notes that I took when I was listening to the mayor, she said about solving crime and making arrests. She says those numbers have gone up. She called it a, quote, community partnership, so working in tandem with the police department, working in tandem with the fire department, with first responders, etc. She also mentioned the public safety headquarters that will be built. She wants all the first responders under one roof together, so she mentioned that would be an easier way for them to communicate with each other, and with the top priority, of course, keeping the community safe. Along those lines, she also mentioned community mental health needs with OPD. They responded to more than 100 mental health needs. She calls this a compassionate intervention that seems to be working in our city. She talked about maintaining higher salaries and retention rates for officers. Says she expanded funding for roads and repairs. She's prepared to open the new library. This is kind of when she was listing down the things that she's accomplished as mayor of the city. She talks about, again, increasing police salaries, retaining the police officers that we do have now, and hopefully getting more. At one point she did mention we are about 100 officers low here in Omaha, so this is something that if reelected she really wants to continue to work on as well. And she mentioned these things and said she did all of this by reducing the tax levy. So she said along those lines she spent $60 million for the long-term investment to create proven affordable housing. And she says this model that she's working towards was chosen as a case study. And she says this development, in essence, will really end up helping the community at large. Now, she also talked about the streetcar during the Q&A session with reporters. That was brought up again. And in her opinion, she said that, most of the people she talked with, they're either on board or they're uncertain. So it's her job to get back in there and kind of convince people this is the way to go. She says the development is underway. She says that, this will be a good thing for local businesses. She says she's already discussing an expansion for the current project that is in the works. And she says ultimately this development will pay for itself through city taxes and whatnot. She discussed Eppley Airfield expanding. She talked about spending $150,000 on roads without increasing taxes. So again, this is, she mentioned property taxes in Omaha is one thing that concerns most citizens who live here. So this is something that she's addressing head on and says she's working towards continuing to lower if reelected as well. She also briefly mentioned problems with encampments on private property, and she says that issue is also being addressed. In that Q&A, as that quote that I mentioned earlier, I mean, she says, "We want to be the city that continues to move forward and develop, so that's why I'm running. I'm the person to get that done." So development, she says, is important for our city. We've seen a lot of projects on the roads and throughout the city of Omaha, so this is something important that she says she's focused on here as well. She says she wants to continue the momentum. One thing of note, she said she is working on all these projects and she would like to see them through to fruition if reelected as mayor. She also said one of the questions was, what can we do at home to kind of help with her campaign? And she said the campaign really won't take off until January. Of course, this is an election year, so focusing on the presidential election in November. But she says, get the word out, come out and vote, this kind of thing. And she says she'll raise enough money for a very strong campaign. So these are just some of the items that Mayor Jean Stothert mentioned for re-election. If we take a look at our website here, we have all of this. We have the Breaking Live banner on our website as well. So that, of course, is another place where you can check for the latest updates on our website, wwt.com. And until then, we'll bring you the very latest, both on air and online. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Fernandez.